Really quick though, what I wanted to talk about for this webinar here today, this is going to be really, really awesome because we have two amazing panelists. We have Keisha Adriano, who is CEO of TravelWise International, and then we also have Erica Carr, who is founder and travel designer of Book It Box Travel. Now, how we're going to do this is really cool. So we have two brilliant minds on here. So we were like, okay, how should we set this up? So how we're going to do it is Keisha's actually going to present first and just really help us lay the groundwork for why is building a brand so important. I mean, obviously you have to have something out there, but a brand is so much more than just a logo. So we're going to talk about that and just how she's going to share how can you approach it when it comes to branding. And then we're going to pass it over to Erica, who's going to present on how she has personally created her brand and really brought the experience to life. And then, of course, there'll be many tangibles that you can walk away with, ideas, because that's what we want to do. We want to inspire, motivate, and bring, all that really fun and excitement when it comes to marketing and branding together. But then also, the other thing I want to mention too is that hopefully at the end we will have time for Q&A. We should, so definitely put those in. If for any reason we don't, I'm sorry, but I think we will. So definitely put those questions in for both of our presenters today. And use that question box. There's a Q&A panel, so use that, and then I'll watch for them during, and then I can ask Keisha and Erica them at the end. So okay. I kept it under 5 minutes. I'm really proud of myself. Okay. So, because I know there's so much to dig into. So, first up is Keisha. So, I'm going to let you share your screen now.
Yes. And let me make sure that you guys see it.
There it is. Nice. Okay. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie, first of all, for having me and Travefy. It really is an honor. I love sharing insight on how we have managed our business and hope each of you gain something from it. So a little background on myself. My name is Keisha Adriano, President and CEO of TravelWise International. We are a second generation travel agency and we have served our clients for over 35 years. So let's begin. First, we will discuss how emotional the world is today. Then we will define branding. I'll give you also a few steps on how to use it. Everything from your logo, website, sales process, and any other touch point can be a form of relationship with you and your brand by provoking their emotions. Marketers achieve this by creating content that appeals to the consumer's emotional state, ego, needs, and aspirations. So the 4 takeaways that I hope that you have by the end of this presentation is understanding the power of emotions, identify how other brands provoke emotions, learn how to leverage emotions, and discover your brand identity. So why emotions? That's okay. There we go.
Yep. I was going to say, I see the inflation slide there.
Thank you.
Here we go. Yep.
Fear creates some of our most vivid memories. It causes doubt and destroys motivation. It has been 2.7 years since the beginning of the pandemic, and still we're just all adjusting. We still fear the unknown, fear of being sick, of loss, and of security. But what are people afraid of? They're also fear of pain and disease, failure, fear of not being accepted. Fear shapes who we are and how we respond. More importantly, another dominant emotion that can conquer fear is hope. Hope shares similar behavior characteristics with fear. Hope is a powerful emotion that can motivate the great emotions that we all have in ourselves. These emotions are the connection that you need to project your brand and differentiate yourself from others. Former President Obama, his campaign for hope was one of the most influential campaigns that inspired a nation through hope, pride, and fear. The Yes, We Can slogan shifted the message from fear to hope and changed how political parties would market themselves in the future. Other emotional motivators that brands use to associate with are belonging. A brand can portray itself with a group of people consumers relate to or aspire to be like. There's fulfillment, making their customers feel like they lead meaningful lives far beyond financial or socioeconomic measures. And then another one is excitement, the thrill of what will be or can be. Both emotions, fear and hope, are always felt together, and you could easily shift from one to another. When we hope for something, we also fear that it won't happen. And then when we fear for something that's about to happen, we also hope that it won't. In a sense, both emotions are aspects of the same emotion, only separated by perspective. Based on hope or fear, consumers will decide to support or abandon brands. So refocus on how you will interact with your clients. What emotions do you want to trigger? Emotional branding is the process of forming a relationship between a person and a product or brand by provoking their emotions. It's objective to fulfill a need or desire and emotionally align itself with their consumers. So, do you buy with your heart or your head? So it's proven that buying for need is price-driven, it's practical, and it's convenient. When buying for desire, it's emotional fulfillment. There's no price tag, and it's evaluated based on value. So what do? Do you buy with logic or do you buy with emotion? So here's a study based on buying with your head or buying with your heart. If you see at the top, purchasing a home, we use our head, we use logic. Moving to a city or state, a logic, we use our logic brain. Now, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it's where do you vacation? So this is what's most important to us, right? It's a want, it's a desire. We follow our heart. So again, vacations are purchased with emotions. How can you market to one's heart? So here is a prime example, Nike, athletic wear that inspires people around the world. They focus on heroism and living life to the fullest. They fulfill the emotion of self-image and fulfillment. Nike advertises using the emotional brand technique of a hero. Fact, Nike rarely mentions their products at all. Their strategy is purpose, and they sell more than a product, they're selling aspiration. My next product, Starbucks. Now, for all you coffee lovers who stand in line for over 30 minutes for one coffee, would you say that Starbucks is the best coffee? Now, you're paying premium price tag, but what are you paying for? You're paying for the ambiance. Starbucks created an emotional connection with its consumers by tuning into the atmosphere and emotions associated with coffee, intensifying the smell of coffee within the store, modern and inviting locations, and, well, free Wi-Fi. So Stanley Hansworth said himself, Starbucks created something people didn't know they needed, but suddenly couldn't get enough of. So here are some more brands that use emotional branding. How a product or service makes a person feel will be the key difference between a person's ultimate choice and the price they're willing to pay. So leveraging emotions. So emotional branding, what does it do for your brand? It makes you stand out, it makes you different. It helps you connect yourself with your clients. It creates brand loyalty by consistency. and focus. And then it also builds a return in investment because you will be targeting your market to people who will actually listen. Okay, so now that you know that, still, what do I do? That's the question. Where do I start? We teach three key components because when you start marketing with no direction or connection, this is called vanilla marketing. And this will leave both you and your clients confused on what it is you offer and frankly, who exactly you are. So our three components, when creating your brand identity, this is what you need to know. And this is your audience, your purpose, and what exactly you represent. Let's start with the easy one. Who would you like to help? These are your clients. You need to know what their marketing personas are. You have to be extremely specific. Demographics, psychographics, who are these clients? What do they look like? Where do they live? What are their buying patterns? This is where you target a niche and figure out who your audience is. This is also called an avatar. What type of person will buy what you offer? Now, I'm going to give an example of importance of targeted marketing. We're all in the travel industry and we're all trying to figure out what our niche is. If I asked you what audience purchases bucket list vacations, could you sell or market to bucket list vacationers? Well, I would say the number one thing you would need to know is not many people can afford a bucket list vacation. And number two, not everyone has the travel experience necessary to appreciate a bucket list vacation. Most will be well-traveled. So understanding this is very important when marketing to a client. So knowing your avatar is crucial. Another important factor that I always like to mention is your communication style. Is it complementary to your audience? Physical versus digital, in-person versus virtual, physical documents versus emails. If you have an older clientele, you may need to update your communication style. Most of them are not technically savvy, and a lot of technology has caught up with the industry. So now we have a lot of apps. So just be mindful of what it is that your client needs. The more specific you are, the more tailored you are, the more likely you will find your passenger faster. You'll need to be tailored to marketing communications, appointments, expectations based on your client's needs. Now, how do you figure out your audience? This can be done in two ways. You can find your niche based on the market or audience you already hold. So if you already are well connected and you already have clients that you can sell to, some people just find something that they'll buy. Or you can attract an audience based on your niche. This is a little bit harder, and this is when we talk about being specific. All right, so now that we've talked a little bit about figuring out who your audience is, who are you? Number two is about what is your unique selling proposition? How are you different than that next travel advisor? There's a couple ways that I suggest that will make your brand unique and memorable. First, I suggest defining your core values, and then be able to identify your purpose. What are your core values? How would you like to be perceived? Is it dependability, frugality, generosity? Is it fun? Is it accountability? Figuring out what your top three core values are will assist in forming the idea of who you are. If you need any help with figuring out your core values, I have a wonderful exercise, so just reach out. So just remember, these expected and consistent core values will evoke an emotion or behavior. And this is the reason why people will come to you. It's because you make them feel a certain way. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Why? What is your why? Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, he asks, why do you do what you do? And try to think about it. Why exactly do you do what you do? He goes on and says, why doesn't mean to, the answer to why isn't that I would like to make a profit. The profit is a result. It's always a result. What's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? The inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, he says, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. People don't buy what you do. People buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do. People buy why you do it. Evoking emotion will create the connection necessary to attract clients to your brand. Companies like Starbucks, Gucci, Disney, all of these brands create marketing that triggers emotions. They become emotional stakeholders in the minds, resulting in the consumption of their brand. Finally, number 3, what do you represent? So this is on a larger scale. Do you represent a country? Is it a culture? Is it an emotion? Is it a specific type of getaway, like an all-inclusive or an adults only? This could be, you could represent global wine tours, culinary experiences, families. What is it exactly that you offer, or what do you want to be known for? This can be a product, a feeling, it could be a niche. Now, since we're on the topic of knowing who you are to achieve consistency in one's brand, here are some examples of personal branding. Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio, LeBron James. What do all these people have in common? All of these examples have consistency in their personal brand, which is their name. Their name is their brand. So if you want to leave a lasting impression, you must first know what impression you would like to leave. What values are you communicating to your clients? Because those values will not only attract you to them, but it will create loyalty. How will you be different? It will be your brand that will connect what you do to how people feel. So what's my brand? Personality. Excitement. Carefree, youthful, spirited. This is Tesla, Nike. Sincerity. Amazon. Transparent, thoughtful, family-oriented. Ruggedness. You have Jeep, you have Timberland. They're adventurous and tough. Competence. You have Volvo, Google, innovative. They're clever. And then sophistication. Apple, refined, lavish, luxury. What emotions do your clients associate with your brand? We all understand the importance of partnership between the agent and the client, the trust, the commitment, the promises that goes into a relationship. We concentrate so much on clients that I would like to emphasize the importance of partnership within our industry. I encourage you to get to know your travel partners, your BDMs, your sales directors, their systems, their timeliness, their support, their personalization, their responsiveness. Be mindful of who you work with. These relationships are the backbone of your business. An example of personalization is mass versus individual emails. Mass emails are great, and how much more do you get out of an individual email, something that's personal, a one-on-one? This is an expectation you have, or your client actually has from you. So should you have this in your travel partners? I used this example before, but Stephanie, extremely helpful and responsive. Travefy is a newer product that I've watched develop over the last couple of years. I believe their success is 100% due to their ability to listen to what it is that their client needs. It's the personal touch, the smaller things, tailor to your clients. Knowing and trusting who you work with will also be beneficial to both of you. Your purpose, your clients, your niche, all of these are components that come together to create a story, your personal brand. And this is what leaves a lasting impression and makes you memorable. The emotional aspect and the feeling that is conveyed will be a difference between a person's choice and the price they're willing to pay. As your own brand, your goal will be to bring the services they desire, when they want, how they want, and through the channels they prefer. Create marketing that triggers an emotion. It will allow you to be an emotional stakeholder in the minds of your consumer. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for listening. I hope you were able to get something useful out of this. And now that you have an idea how to create your brand identity, You are prepared for Miss Erica Carr, who will show you a perfect example on how to market your own brand.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you for the kind words on Travefy. That tugs at our heartstrings. But thank you so much, though. That was great to just, lay that groundwork for why building a brand is so important. And a couple of things that were really interesting is just, a lot of ideas on how to think for everyone listening on what is your why. And that actually goes back, Adam Duckworth yesterday during the keynote was asking the same thing. So I'm seeing a pattern here. So I really like that. So Erica, I'll let you take it away though now and show us how you've really created, Book It Box Travel and, brought that experience and branding to life.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Erica Carr, founder of Book It Box Travel. And thank you, Stephanie, for inviting me to present. So I'm excited to be here. So we're going to talk about, so obviously Keisha kind of laid the groundwork for creating your brand and creating that brand experience. And so we're going to jump into kind of the evolution of the brand of Book It Box Travel and then hop into some specifics in terms of our marketing playbook and what we currently use. And then because I'm a systems geek, we'll talk about systems and how we have just completely laid out all of the systems that we need to make things efficient here. So again, Erica Carr, I'm based in Gainesville, Georgia. I launched Book It Box Travel in 2018 by complete accident. I had spent about 20 years in software sales in the orthodontic industry and loved it, had a great career, absolutely loved what I did. And literally by accident, Book It Box Travel was born. So very quick story on how this happened. I am an Enneagram 1. I'm a firstborn. I am a control freak, all of those things. That is me. And so we had really good friends who travel every year. They have 5 kids. And so they just, every March, they get away for their anniversary. And so in 2018, they bought plane tickets to Barcelona, Spain for 10 days. And every time I asked them, what are you going to do when you get to Spain? They kept telling me, well, we don't know. We don't have time to plan the trip. And so because of my personality, I could not stand the thought of them showing up in Spain with a blank piece of paper with nothing to do. So I said, just let me plan it for you. And because I don't do anything the easy way, I went out a few nights before they left to Hobby Lobby and I bought a box and I just bought a bunch of fun stuff that they could use for their trip and threw it in that box, sent them off to the airport. I said, when you get to the airport in Atlanta, open this up and it'll have some goodies in it. And so our friends, Kate and Matt, recorded this on Facebook. And that's literally kind of how the company evolved. So in 2018, I was still in my full-time role with the software company. And I just started booking trips for friends. And so this is literally the first iteration of the box. As you can see, literally a craft brown paper box from Hobby Lobby with the worst graphics that you can ever imagine. But at that point, it was just fun. I didn't know that it was going to literally evolve into a company. I was just doing it for fun, for friends. And so late 2018, my husband and I decided, okay, this is gaining some traction and let's actually, let's launch this business. So at that point, used a lot of the things that Keisha talked about to identify who my ideal client was, hired a professional designer to create the brand. I think that's so critical in the beginning is really to do what Keisha said, identify who your ideal client is. We literally have 2 avatars of who our ideal client is. So this is the first official Book It Box version, kind of a white box with some of our colorful graphics on it. And so what we do is about a week before our clients depart, we ship them a Book It Box and it has some travel specific goodies in it or destination specific goodies in it, things that they can use after they get back from their trip, things like that. So this was version 1, if you will, or version 2, if you use Hobby Lobby box as version 1. And then this is the current version here. So we kind of took our brand earlier this year and just elevated the colors and the fonts and things like that. And then just made the box more fun too. So now it's more colorful. It's not that white corporate kind of look to it. So we just elevated that. And then we also created a shipping box. So to begin with, I was just literally using a USPS box to ship them in. So just to kind of, again, up level the experience, this is the new shipping box that the Book It Box comes in. So super fun. So let's chat about our marketing playbook. So we're just going to pop through these different topics at the bottom, starting with know, like, and trust. So of course, you have to first establish know, like, and trust with our clients. So until they know that they can trust us and they have that likability, or we have that likability factor to them, they probably won't use us. And so it's really important to, be the face of your brand. I know when I first launched Book It Box Travel, I wanted to look really big, and I felt so insecure about the fact that I had not professionally booked travel before. And so Vanessa McGovern, who is one of the co-founders of my host agency, GTN, Gifted Travel Network, said, we want to see your face. You need to be more the face of the brand. And so I embrace that, and it really has helped. I think that it just helps to put a face with a name, and it helps to personalize the experience and things like that. So social media obviously is such a great way to, just kind of connect with your audience and things like that. But I also think allowing your clients to create that trust works as well. So we once a week post one of the testimonials that come through from our clients. What's interesting about Jay Cooper's testimonial here is that he actually has never gone on a Book It Box travel trip with us. So we booked his family to go on a trip, and then COVID happened. We had to cancel. And so his testimonial is specific to how we handled unraveling his trip for him and helping him recoup as much of the trip funds as he had invested. And then inspiring clients. So, social media gives us such a great platform to do this. And so whether it's posting where you are personally traveling, or posting where you're booking clients to go, or if it's simply just using the brands that you want to book and sharing their content out on social media, inspiring clients on where they want to go. Anytime that me or anybody on my team travels, we're constantly doing Instagram stories. We create highlights for that. And so, Instagram highlights are a great way to build inspiration for our clients. Hook them up with a freebie. So we do Friday freebies, and you are welcome to steal that from me and use it for yourself. And so on Fridays, we will do a freebie, and it's essentially a way for us to get prospective clients to opt into our mailer, our email list. And so this is one of the ways that we use Travefy. So obviously we use Travefy for all of our proposals, all of our itineraries. We literally do not send out supplier proposals ever. We always convert them into Travefy. So we use Travefy all day, every day. But the other way that we use it is to create these freebies. And so we will actually put together mock itineraries for different destinations, or in this case, this was over COVID. We did 9 family-friendly vacations in the USA, just because people were obviously staying local. And so they could opt in for that freebie through our website. And we use MailerLite for the system that they opt into, and also for our weekly newsletters. And then slide into their inbox. So again, utilizing MailerLite, we can do emails to our clients. And this is really just a touch point to kind of let clients know what's going on at Book It Box Travel, or educating them on things that are going on out there in the travel world, or just connecting with them personally. So again, MailerLite is what we use for that. And I think that's just a really good way to keep your brand in front of your prospective clients out there. I am not one who goes and checks stats, any of that sort of thing. I do not obsess over that. And, but what's interesting is when I'm out in the community, certainly people will say, oh, I loved what you wrote about in the newsletter this week. And so I know that people, even though they don't reply back to the email, people are reading it. And it's just a good way to keep your brand front of mind. The other thing that we do is we will tag clients on Instagram. So as we're scrolling through the Instagram feed that we follow as Book It Box Travel, if we see something that applies to a client, we'll tag them. So in this case, we have a adorable interior design client. And so when I saw this Commodore Perry estate post, I thought, oh, I know that she would love this. So tag her in those. And that's just a good way to kind of put these different destinations or properties in front of our clients. Also lets them know we're thinking about them. And then also in terms of the gifts that we give, I read Giftology by John Ruhlin. His last name is spelled Ruhlin, and it completely changed the way that I thought about gifting. And so his general thought is to stay away from consumables, stay away from logoed apparel, and to give things that last so they create more impressions on our clients. So for example, if you have a big wine lover that you've done a French wine country trip for, give them a Cuisinart wine opener. And every time that they use it, they subconsciously think about your brand. The other brand that we love is Cat Studio. So they have the cutest destination gifts. So this is one of their dish towels. And so we put these a lot in Book It boxes. So again, hopefully as our clients utilize this cute little Italy dish towel, they think about us and hopefully come back to us for another trip. I do try to stay away from consumables, but I do love Bougie Bakes. It's such a great brand and clients love it. So we will break the rules every now and again for Bougie Bakes. So again, Travefy is a huge part of what we do. MailerLite is that system that we use for opt-ins and email newsletters, and then of course, social media. So next, let's talk about systems. And I will call myself a geek. I geek out over systems. Again, I spent 20 years in the sales industry, and 14 of those years were with 2 smaller startup companies. And so for anybody out there who has worked for a smaller company, you know that you wear a lot of hats, and that a lot of times there aren't a lot of great systems. And so in my most recent role, one of my jobs was identifying needs for where we needed systems, going and finding those systems, and then implementing those systems. And so it's something that I had some good experience in, and luckily I could bring that into the travel world and do that. But, you know, for me, as you kind of think about things that you do consistently over and over with every single client, no matter what type of trip you're booking, to me, it just makes sense to have all of those components pre-built out so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. So a good example would be an email. We know that we send the same emails for the most part to our clients. And so going ahead and building out a library of those emails just makes our life easier. The other thing I'm a huge believer in, for any of you out there who have 0 clients right now, or 5 clients right now, or 15 clients right now, is to implement your systems before you need them. And as you implement those systems, ensure that they will scale and grow with you. So when you have 50 clients or 500 clients, that system that you've implemented will continue to grow with you and you won't grow out of it. Because once you do have 100 clients, you're too busy to implement those systems. So do it now. So canned emails. And Keisha mentioned something about mass emails versus personal emails. And so with our canned email library, we have the kind of the bones of the email there, and then we can customize it based on where they're going or who the client is. But this is our new inquiry email. So at this point, the prospective client has gone to bookitboxtravel.com. They have completed the lead form. They have been redirected to my calendar so they can schedule their complimentary consultation call. And once that comes in, I am prompted, obviously, that a new lead has come in, and then I can turn around and send this new inquiry canned email. So it basically just checks in with the prospective client. Hey, you're one giant leap closer to an amazing vacation experience. Before our call, take a peek at our custom planning guide, which I'll show you in just a minute. It's chock full of fun details on what's upcoming. You can also read more on the B word, our minimum trip budgets chat soon. So the B word links them to a blog post that I did about the B word, which is budget, of course. So at that point, I send that new inquiry email out. Then I hop on the consultation call with the client. I ensure that we are the right fit for them and that they are the right client fit for us. And I quote the design fee on the phone call and then let them know, hey, after our phone call, I will send you the link to the design fee, which will get this process started. And so again, we have a canned email with that design fee. And then once it's paid, this is the email that they actually get. So, hey client, oh, happy day, your BookitBox travel design fee has been received. You're one step closer to that Italian getaway. Now what? And it takes them through what's going to happen next in the process. And the fun is just getting started. So I do think as you're building out your canned email library, it's always important to set expectations on what happens next and not to kind of just leave the client hanging. And then once we have the trip proposal ready, of course, always again in Travefy, this is the most fun email that we get to send. And we really love sending out trip proposals on Fridays, just because Friday's a fun day. And it also gives the client the weekend to kind of look it over, connect with their spouse, and look over the proposal. So, hey client, go ahead and bust a move. Your BookitBox travel proposed itinerary has arrived. I'm pumped about all of your trip elements, but I think I'm most stoked about blank. And so this is where we're customizing those templated emails, right? So about the bullfighter estate experience and flamenco dinner. Can't wait for you to see it. And then, of course, we link them to the Travefy proposal. And then again, we clarify what comes next. So when do we want to hear back from them with proposal feedback? What to do if the proposal looks perfect and they're ready to get started? Or if they want to schedule a call to give me some feedback, they can do that as well. And then after travel, we send out a review request. And so this is that canned email, basically just saying, hey, client, we want more clients just like you. Do you mind helping spread the word about BookitBox travel to your social media friends? And we link them to our Google page and our Facebook review page. So those were canned emails. Next, we'll hop into forms. I use Dubsado as the CRM tool that I use for my business. And so all of the forms that you'll see and all of the canned emails are all stored within Dubsado. And so the start planning form is where everything begins. So as you all know, prospective clients will text you, they'll call you, they'll send you an Instagram message. They'll show up on your porch. No, just kidding. That hasn't happened yet. But no matter what happened, no matter how a prospective client reaches out, I always say, great, we'd love to help you. Please meet us at the start planning form on our website at bookitboxtravel.com. And that will get this fun process started. And so this is our new lead inquiry form that they fill out. And by getting them to go through the proper systems and steps, it just helps our system to go really smoothly. So they fill out that form. And then traveler documentation. So this has just made life so much easier, you know, especially with repeat clients. It's so nice to have their passport photo uploaded, their birth dates, their address, all of the critical information that we need to book air for clients. Also things like height and weight and sizes, if they're going to be scuba diving or anything like that. If they're taking a helicopter, we need to know their weights, or hot air balloon rides. So we ask all of those questions in this traveler documentation form. It's also where they can input all of their loyalty numbers. So we have their Marriott Bonvoy on file, or their Delta SkyMiles number always on file. And then food and allergies. So we're slowly disseminating these forms out over the travel planning process. So we're not bombarding them all with the forms at one time. So we kind of slowly trickle these out. But this is food and allergies form, pretty basic. What do you like to eat? What do you like to drink? Is anybody allergic to anything? And then we literally share this form with our hotel partners to help customize the welcome amenities. So if we know that they love sea salt caramel chocolates, we will specifically request that as their amenity. And one of my very favorite tools is Calendly. They have a free version. I encourage you all to use it. It integrates with your e-calendar system. So I use Google Calendar. It works with Apple Cal and most of the major calendars out there. But essentially what Calendly does is it allows you to send a link to prospective clients, partners. We use it for everybody. We literally only work off of scheduled calls. And so this allows them to literally view our calendar to see when I'm available and to schedule a time that then pops onto my Google Calendar. Love it, love it, love it. Definitely recommend this if you don't already use Calendly or something similar. So documents. One of the blessings for me during COVID was, so I had transitioned full-time, officially launched Book It Box Travel in April of 2019. And then, so obviously you all know the timing of that. So was lucky that first year we did about 100 trips. And so one of the things that I knew I needed during that first year were documents to help prospective clients understand kind of what our process was and to pre-sell why to use Book It Box Travel. And then also a welcome guide. So once a client hired us, to kind of set expectations on what to expect during their journey of working with Book It Box. And so one of the blessings of COVID was that I got to actually get to those projects and find a designer to do these documents for me. So the custom planning guide is something that goes out to the prospective client. So again, after they schedule the call with me, they filled out their lead form, and I send that new inquiry email, canned email, then we hyperlink them to the custom planning guide. And really the job of this document is to pre-sell why they should work with Book It Box Travel. So what are the benefits to them of working with us? Of course, they get VIP'd. We get to handle all the details. It's stress-free. We get to save time and create memories. So this is some of the things that Keisha talked about, is just in your brand, like what emotions do you want to evoke? So for a busy working mom who is our target audience, saving time and creating memories, that's pretty emotional. Like that evokes emotions for her, because those are two really important things for her. Talks a little bit about me. So it gets a little bit more into details than my website does about who I am and what I do here at Book It Box. And then I think most importantly is it prefaces the design fees or service fees that we charge. And so hopefully, if the prospective client has read this by the time we get on the phone, it allows me to very easily say, as you read in the custom planning guide, we have a design fee. That's how you hire Book It Box Travel. For your type of trip, the fee is blank, and I can quote the fee. So our fees start at $395 for our vitamin C boxes, which are luxury resorts. And then for our FITs, whether they're domestic or international, those fees start at $895. And Stephanie, I know you'll talk more about this in the session tomorrow.
Yes, it's a little good sneak peek.
That's right. And then the welcome guide is the document that goes out to clients after they've paid the design fee and they are officially a new client of Book It Box Travel. And so again, this is going to set expectations on what they can expect during the process. So kind of what happens between now and departure date. So again, just more documentation to provide to the client. Certainly helps to give them details on when can you call us? And if you do want to chat, how do you do that? Again, using Calendly, email us and we'll send you our calendar link and you can hop on our calendar. So that is it. So because I'm such a systems geek, I have actually put together a document that has all of my favorite systems in it that we use for Book It Box Travel. So if you are interested in that, I'd love to offer you the freebie. And you can do that by simply texting freebie, the word freebie, to the phone number on the screen, 202-410-4202. And you can do that now or later. But I'd love for you to have that list of systems. So that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Woo. Oh, how cool is that? Like a phone number that you just text. I love it. Really cool.
Got it.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, I saw Keisha like with the snaps. There's so many cool things. Loved it. Yes, that's so cool. I really appreciate it because it's so cool to see. There's so many things actually I didn't even think about is like down to your forms, to your any document you have conveys your brand and how much you can plug into that to add more to it. So really cool. And I have a question for both of you: is has your brand evolved over time? So like especially for you, Keisha, how you're a second generation owner of the travel agency, have you had to, take a step back and evolve a little bit or change anything? Because I'm just wondering that with a lot of people who have already built a brand and they're like, well, now I'm stuck with what I have, but maybe you can change it.
Absolutely. Prior to the pandemic, actually, we really only marketed by word of mouth. So once the pandemic hit and we became very, very, well, we went very hard to social media. And that's when we started doing Facebook Lives. We started opening up Facebook groups. But yes, it definitely evolves and it continues to evolve. If I have any recommendations for anyone, it's just start. Just start in whatever it is that you want to do. Make sure you, of course, have systems like Erica said, but remember, this is not permanent. This is only the beginning. And so all you need to do is take a step into the direction and it will evolve on its own.
That's awesome. And how about for you, Erica?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with anything, you can constantly refine, and certainly as you get more into your target audience and things like that. I mean, I think it's always okay to rebrand. And if you are a new advisor and you haven't hired, okay, here's my biggest thing. We tell clients to hire us because we are a professional in the travel industry and that they will have a better experience because they hire us, right? So when I see travel advisors try to create their own logos, it just makes me cringe because I'm like, wait a second, shouldn't you take your own advice and hire a professional designer to create your brand and to help you do that? So highly encourage you, if you have not invested in true branding, to do that. It's so critical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's such a good message, is just like outsource it, go to, the people. And but then there's also like the resources, like when you're building your documents. So it's almost like after this, think about what is the first touch point, what is all the way through to the end, like are there any systems that you can use that helps, which is what you were talking about, Erica, and making it automated, which is nice, helping all that. And there's actually a question Lisa just asked, doesn't Travefy have forms and a splash page for those who don't have a website? And yes, we do actually. It's we call them a landing page builder, but it's like the website landing page builder, and you could definitely use that to help market things. So just had to throw a little Travefy in there. But and thanks for the Travefy shout outs as well, Erica. So I'm telling you, we do not tell people to say that. So that's really cool to hear and see it all in action, which is really awesome. And then, okay, so there's a couple questions here. And so a lot of people are loving the presentations. But what again is it that the name? Oh, I know one that someone asked earlier on is, what is the author for the gift book again, Erica?
John Ruhlin. His last name is Ruhlin, and the name of the book is Giftology.
Perfect. That's cool. Another question for Erica too is, when you have your different versions of canned emails, do you always send the same thing for every customer? Do you ever change things? Like, do you ever have any reason why sometimes you change, like based off of the customer needs?
Yeah, so the canned email, like the bones are there, and then we can add in, like your Italian adventure or whatever. So we can add in things to the canned email template that customize it to the specific client. So we very rarely just send a canned email without customizing it to the client.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanie, I'm going to piggyback on this.
Yeah,
something
definitely.
that you guys probably already have is, I don't know how many people use Outlook, but I'm sure Gmail also provides some sort of this. But there's a way that you can place your email templates in the signature. So we do this a lot because I have, again, multiple hats. But what you can do is say, if it has to do with the first intro, or like Erica does, she has so many planned out, you could place that in your signature, where all you are is clicking it once, it appears, and you can customize it and it's on its way. So that's another way of going about it.
Yeah. That's really cool. And a random question, just throwing this out there is, do either of you know, Julianne asked best source for a designer. Do any of you have any that you can think about that's a good place to go find that? I mean, just Googling, I know, or that'd probably be.
So Teak is a great
Oh,
company.
yeah.
They're specific to, yes, they're specific. So it's TIQUE, Teak.
Mhm.
And they're fantastic. They're specific to the travel space. The other good one is Girl Boss Designer, and she's an American. She lives in Australia, but she also does branding and website design as well. So those are two in the industry.
I'm so ashamed. I didn't even think of that. It's teak. Yes. Yeah. Michelle said like boutique. It is just like that.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
never realized. So awesome. But I also want to, I know I can't believe it's already like the time. This is really crazy. I thought we had more time than this, but just to leave, what would you both say, like for leaving thoughts for the audiences? What would your ending thoughts be on just coming up with a brand, whether you're brand new and you have like this blank canvas, or you already are a travel advisor and you're looking for ways to refresh everything? And I'll let either one take it first.
I would say it's so easy to jump into the actual logo because that's the most fun part and it's so pretty and all those things. But really, honestly, that should come last. So you really need to sit down with that blank sheet of paper and create your avatar, like Keisha said. Who is your ideal audience and what speaks to them? And then really, from there, after you have that information, then you can start on the actual branding and the pretty components.
I would kind of what I started to say earlier, excuse me. Just start. I think a lot of us, when it comes to insecurities, it comes with confidence. We're so afraid of being rejected and something not being perfect or of our standard. Excuse me. I would just say, just start. You cannot grow without failure, and it's okay to fail. Do the Facebook Lives, join Facebook groups that are catered towards whatever niche you're doing. If you're looking and searching, just continue to research, but just get out there.
I love that. I had to do some snaps there because yes, you can't succeed unless you fail. Beautifully said. It stinks, but it's how it works. It's how you get better. So I just want to thank you so much again to both of you. This has been really cool. Just understanding, because I think Erica, you're so right. Like everyone just wants to go to the logo. I mean, I would too. Is you're like that's what they see, so I'm going for the logo. But you really have to think Keisha, what you said. What emotion do you need to convey? What should they be thinking about? What are you selling? What is your why? The big question. So really amazing stuff. And just thank you so much again. And also this was all recorded. So you'll find it at travify.salesworkshop.live as well. And then I also want to just share really quick one last thing. So before we hop off here, we will be joining Amber Zackham with social media. So hopefully this will give you an hour to really think about your brand, and then Amber will help explain how you can use it in social media. So hopefully it pairs very well together. But just want to say thank you so much again to our presenters here today. It was so awesome, Erica and Keisha. Really appreciate it, and everyone else joining. And and we'll probably see you again soon for the next session. But thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your afternoon, morning, where it might be.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Everyone, thank you,
Thanks.
Stephanie.
See
Bye,
ya.
guys.